So we're here with Scarpa to see their new Spring-Summer 2024 collection, but we're going to start with the Spot, which may make an early arrival later this year. So the Spot is a performance all-rounder and sits around about where the Quantic and the Quantix previously sat within the Scarpa range. It's got an asymmetrical last around the toe, designed for precise placement, and is ideal for those who are looking to push their grade. The cool thing about the Spot is it's capable of doing a bit of everything. This is something I could see myself using on an indoor circuit bouldering indoors or outdoors, or just going sport climbing or trad climbing out somewhere in the UK or beyond. To compare it to something like the Vapor V, the Vapor V has a slightly flatter last compared to the moderately downturned last of the Spot. And this is what gives the Spot that little bit of extra edge in terms of its performance, particularly whilst bouldering. The Vapor V has a more complex construction within its uppers, which is part of the reason it comes in at a higher price point of £155 versus the Spot's £135. So where I'd see the Vapor V as being more suitable for all-day trad, maybe vertical sport climbing where you're going to be standing on footholds for a long time, the Spot sits perhaps at the other end of a spectrum, better suited towards indoor bouldering and still suitable for sport and for trad, but perhaps for routes where you're not necessarily standing around on your feet for as long as you might be within the Vapor V. The Vapor V also features Vibram XS Edge compared to the Spot, which features Vibram XS Grip 2. So they have a very different feel. And in terms of what that feel actually is, just to recap, it's a shoe that blends support and sensitivity incredibly well. It's got a 1mm Flexam midsole running 2/3 of the way down the shoe, which is what gives it that extra support. And the rand and toe both feature Scarpa's proprietary M50 rubber. Now this is that super sticky, super soft stuff. And the fact that it's got this across the toe gives it that extra performance indoors whilst toe hooking and using abstract volumes. But what that soft material also does is give the uppers a really good, comfortable and snug fit. It's quite adaptable, further helped by the twin Velcro straps. Scarpa are producing both a men's and a women's, or a high volume and a low volume model. And in terms of the fit, I'd say they're relatively regular, medium in terms of their width, particularly around the forefoot, and the volume around the toe is relatively low. And on the heel, there's a little bit more depth than your average Scarpa shoe, but that's what adds to the security of the fit, and it feels great on the foot. We look forward to reviewing the Spot as and when they're available, not least because they just look like a shoe you could wear all day for a variety of differing climbing types. And the fact they're coming in at a competitive price should make them more appealing for the average climber too. Next up, we've got the Origin VS, which is designed with those climbers who are just starting out indoors but are looking to progress. Climbing's changed significantly in recent years, where previously climbers were starting outdoors, doing multi-pitch V-diffs in the rain. These days they're starting indoors and climbing better than I am in a fortnight. This is the shoe that is designed with that market in mind. The other big point of difference with the Origin VS is that it looks good. Beginner shoes traditionally weren't the most sexy, but these look really good. The Origin VS is based on the same last as the Origin itself. Now the Origin was designed to be quite neutral and ultimately aimed to fit absolutely everyone. But that's about where the similarities end, because in the upper half, Scarpa have brought in and drawn down from models further up the range, such as the M50 toe patch. And this super sticky toe patch is something you'd expect to see on a much more performance-oriented shoe, much higher up the range. And yet here it is. And the reason for this is, again, because people are progressing so much quicker. You're no longer just using your toe. When you're climbing indoors, especially on these big volumes using dynamic moves, you're using the whole shoe now, not just the tip. To just run through a few more features, the sole is Scarpa's S72 rubber, and this is the same that's used on the Veloce and the Veloce lace. This is as sticky as rubber gets, and it is outstanding for use indoors. But the clever thing that Scarpa have done with this is in between the S72 sole and in between the M50 toe patch, they've used rand rubber, which is a much harder wearing material. And this is perfect for beginners, because if there's one thing that you're a little guilty of when you start climbing, it's dragging your feet up the wall. And this harder wearing rubber ensures greater durability. So if you're starting out, or if you're an experienced climber but you're looking for a good value shoe to climb indoors in, and these are coming in at £110, which in at least the year 2023 represents extremely good value, then the Origin VS is definitely worth checking out. And we're looking to review a pair when they come out next spring, summer.